Join us on a journey to learn about the many stories of life on this earth. But not just any story, but the story of life itself. We will take a voyage of discovery, a safari that will reveal the world of wildlife in a new and exciting way. We begin on the island of Bermuda. First discovered in 1609 by Sir George Somers, it is an unspoilt island of natural beauty. Although it has no rivers or streams, it is lush and full of character. The locals affectionately call Bermuda God's Island. But beneath the clear turquoise waters is another paradise. At 32 degrees latitude north, Bermuda is the most northerly place on our planet that coral reefs can be found. This awesome watery world is full of variety and color. Bermuda is completely surrounded by reefs, which has made her the shipwreck capital of the world. This ship, the Cristobal Colon, lost in 1936, is now a part of the reef, covered in brain corals, sponges, and sea fans. An inquisitive pudding-wife wrasse is attracted by our cameraman's pink fins. This electrically colored fish is equipped with stereoscopic vision. These are eyes that can move individually and in different directions simultaneously, and pectoral fins which move like oars on a rowing boat. These features are perfect for finding their favorite food. Every creature has its place in the order of things. These butterfly fish have long, thin snouts, which are just the right size to find food in the grooves of these brain corals. Sadly, many of the world's reefs are in danger of extinction. Corals require clean, warm water to survive, and sudden dramatic temperature changes or severe wave action can kill corals quickly. Sand or algae smothering a reef will also kill it. Good coastline management and natural filters like these mangrove trees help protect reefs by holding back sand and other sediments which would otherwise wash down onto the reef. Bermudian waters sadly have been overfished, but a great variety of aquatic life exists, though not in the same quantities of years gone by. A coral reef is an interdependent ecosystem of life forms that cannot survive without each other. A relationship where creatures depend on each other for survival is called symbiosis. If different creatures depend on each other to stay alive now, have they always done so in the past? To answer this question, and others that contradict widely accepted ideas about life on Earth, let us look at the coral reefs of the world more closely. To do this, we leave Bermuda and continue our journey. Coral reef fish have more than a tale to see. They have a tale to tell. It's a story that can be understood by everyone, from the simplest child to the most educated professor. Imagine how incredible it would be to have a collection of books that taught you how to design one of these fish. Their pages would contain the exact details for every cell and tissue type, how big every internal organ, eye and fin should be, what color and markings each fish would have, and how each piece would be positioned in its body. Just a pinhead of this DNA information would fill enough books to reach from the Earth to the Moon and back over 500 times. Miraculously, every living creature contains these instructions for life in its microscopic DNA. When Charles Darwin wrote his Origin of Species, he knew nothing of DNA, and the microscopic codes of life. If he did, his book might never have been published, because the DNA tells a story evolutionists don't want you to know. This debate over the origins of life has raged for 150 years. But now, finally, the debate is over. These fish, like all living things, have an inbuilt flexibility in their DNA blueprints of life. The flexibility allows for adaptations in size, color, and patterning. There are also built-in limits to the amount of change that can take place. In other words, these adaptations will never result in one kind of animal changing into another kind. This means, for example, that you could breed two different species of horse together and produce a hybrid or a third new species. But it would still be a family member of the horse kind. Horses cannot breed with cows or sheep, and even breeding with a donkey only results in a mule that is almost always sterile. Like horses that only breed horses, fish are still only breeding fish. These reproduction facts have been observed for centuries, but now the study of DNA has provided fascinating evidence of a mechanism that helps prevent the DNA's coded information from being corrupted. Although the DNA code has a built-in ability to change, mistakes occur each time cells divide and copy their DNA. These mutations would be very destructive were it not for the code-checking mechanism involving DNA polymerase. When new cells are being constructed, the checking mechanism makes sure that every building plan dispatched to construct each new part is exactly the same as the original code. This is rather like checking photocopies to see if they're the same as the original. DNA polymerase is there to stop mutations and protect against harmful changes. And because additional information cannot be added through mutations or any other means, the adaptations that do occasionally take place in animals do not become more complex in nature as required to support the theory of macroevolution. All of this means that new kinds of animals can never be produced. Only variations or new species of the existing types and kinds of animals. Darwin refused to accept that there were fixed created boundaries between the very different and distinct animal kinds.